Have you ever made an 8-bar loop and thought to yourself, wow, this sounds amazing, and just didn't know where to take it or how to build it out? If that's happened to you, you are definitely not alone. One of the biggest struggles a lot of beginner producers have is building out an 8-bar loop into a fully arranged song. A lot of people get to the point where they're able to come up with a good chord progression or a good drum beat, but it really is just a simple 8-bar loop and they don't know how to make it into a full song that you can also put vocals over. That's what this video is going to be about today. I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how to build out an 8-bar loop into a full song. Hello everyone, my name is Zach Fias and I'm an independent music artist with about 6 songs out on streaming platforms. And on this channel, I love to share any knowledge about music production, songwriting, and building out a song from scratch. Before we get into today's video, I just wanted to announce that I'm launching my first course at the end of next month in August, and it's going to be a beginner music production course. And so it's perfect for anybody who is just learning music production, and it's going to give you a solid foundation on music theory, basic piano knowledge so that you can play keys. It's going to teach you how to make an 8-bar loop, how to build out that 8-bar loop, and also how to record vocals. And so if that sounds interesting to you, there's a link down below in the description where you can sign up with your email so that you can be one of the first ones to know when it launches. And because you're going to be one of the first ones to know, there will also be a discount code so that when you sign up, you're not paying full price. And that's just as a little thank you to everyone who's in that first wave who signs up for the course. Well, that's enough about that. Let's go ahead and dive into today's video. All right, so today's video is going to be about how to build out an 8-bar loop. The first step is to stop thinking in loops. In order to build out an 8-bar loop, you need to be thinking in sections. You need to be thinking, all right, this is where the intro is. Verse 1, the pre-chorus, the chorus. Verse 2, the build-up. Chorus 2, a bridge. Chorus 3, an outro. And you need to be thinking about how long you want those sections. This will help you be aware of how long your song needs to be, whether it's going to be a 2-minute and 30-second song or maybe a 4-minute song or longer or anywhere in between. Having that roadmap will really give you clarity on where your song needs to go, and it's going to give you ideas of how to build out this 8-bar loop to keep it interesting over the entirety of the song. So when I first build out an 8-bar loop, I start thinking to myself, where does this 8-bar loop belong? Does this belong in the chorus? Does it belong in the verse? Does it belong in the bridge? And I start building it out from there. If I know this is going to be a verse, for example, if I already have drums in there, I might make the verse start out without any drums, and then the second half of the verse, I might re-add those drums back in because the song is supposed to build. That's just a little tip there for you of how you can start building out your 8-bar loop. Step number 2 is to create contrast. And this goes back to the example that I just gave. You want to make sure to take out certain elements in each section so that each section is a little bit different. You don't want your verse sounding exactly like the intro. You don't want your verse sounding exactly like the chorus. And you definitely don't want your chorus sounding just like the verse, because then you'll just have this monotone of a song and it doesn't progress and it doesn't keep the listener interested throughout the entirety of its play. Some great things to do are strip out drums, maybe introduce a piano in the second half of the verse or even in the chorus and keep the verse just more synth and pad-like. Maybe have drums in the verse but take out the drums in the pre-chorus. You just play around with stuff. And obviously the chorus, this is the big moment of the song. This is where you want a lot of energy to be, and the verse is supposed to sound quieter than the chorus. It's good to be aware of where the energy needs to be in each section. And the best way to play around with energy is just to strip out things or potentially add things back in. It's the best way to do it, and that will really help create contrast throughout the entirety of your song. Point number 3 is build energy over time. So again, if your verse is supposed to be a bit quieter or a bit softer or a bit less energetic than your chorus is supposed to be, maybe your chorus is going to have the big drums, the big snares. It's going to have a lot of layers to fill out that section to make it sound super thick compared to your verse. I know for me in my songs, usually my verses start out pretty thin. It's either just the piano or a couple pads or synths. And then the drop/chorus, because I'm in the pop EDM world, that's usually where there's 5 things playing one chord progression. You got pianos and synths, you got bass and sub bass and kicks and drums and percussion or vocals or even vocal chops in the drop. that's where the big section is, and that's the thickest part of my songs usually. By being aware of where the energy is supposed to be in your song, that will really help you to start the song a bit softer / quieter, and over time build that energy up into the big chorus, drop it out again in verse 2, and you build it up again, and that will just really help you give a roadmap to your song, which should follow the map that you created for your song in step 1. Step 4 is to use reference tracks. And what I mean by reference tracks is pull up songs that you like and that are similar to the current song that you are trying to make. For example, if you are trying to make a country song, pull up other country songs and pay attention to how they build their tracks. It'll help you be aware of the arrangement that they're using. It'll help you to be aware of the sound selection that they're using. And it'll just give you a better idea on how to finish your song. For me, because I'm in the pop, dance, EDM world, I pull up songs in that genre. And that helps me to be able to map out my song and finish that one, and help me to be aware of what sounds should be in each section, and just give me inspiration on how to build it. Reference tracks are very, very helpful in seeing the finished vision down the line to help you work backwards and finish your song. Step 5 is to just finish your arrangement. It's okay if your demo still sounds really rough. It's okay if the sound selection isn't totally there. What you're really doing is just 1, building reps out, and 2, every song starts out as a rough demo. I have all the first original rough cuts of all my songs that are currently out on streaming platforms, and they all sound super rough. They sound super bare to the bones because the sound selection just isn't there. The drums aren't completely there. But it's okay because, you're building out the arrangement and you keep adding more to it and keep working on it over time. That eventually gets to the finished product. Your hands in mine. So to round out everything I've mentioned in this video, remember, create in sections, not loops, create contrast, build energy over time, have reference tracks, and make sure to finish as many arrangements or just demos in general, because you will get better every single song you make. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and hit the subscribe button, because I do plan on posting more videos just like this, talking about music production and songwriting. If you're interested in the beginner music production course that I'll be launching soon, I'll have it linked down below in the description for you guys to check out. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Y'all have a good one.